suicide rate for women is highest in women between 45 and 54. That's quite frightening.
Rachel Hipparchus is a nutritional biochemist and women's health advocate, guiding people with personalized advice and helping brands create science-backed products.
People designing a food supplement that allows it to make health claims and people getting preyed on.
The irony is, and the MHRA knows, there's certain herbs that they say must not be taken because they might interact with medicines. So they're sort of implying, well, they work, but we still can't tell anyone about it.
If you're buying supplements off TikTok influencers, we've lost the plot.
A lot of people call themselves nutritionists and they're not. And now people are on there and they're listening to influencers.
Gummies are for dummies.
Don't get me started on gummies.
I lived on a desert island for 6 weeks as part of Bear Grylls the Island.
Oh.
Where do you stand on the carnivore diet?
It's very difficult to be vegan and be healthy without really working hard at it.
Where do you stand on electrolytes? Every company I ever see is doing electrolytes.
It's a cost of living crisis. People aren't going to keep paying out. But to make an actual difference with a sustainable business, your products have got to work.
The MHRA is the Medical Health Regulations Advisory for the UK.
Yeah.
And food supplements aren't regulated by them unless you make claims that are deemed to be medical, and then you cross over into them and they slap you down and say, shut up. You're a food supplement.
So food supplement legislation is totally separate to the MHRA. There is a governing body for food supplement legislation, but that's normally policed by trading standards, as you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
For your benefit or otherwise.
Yeah.
And then, so medicines are classed under the MHRA. You can't buy them freely. They have to be prescribed or certain ones are okay for OTC. But the supplement market, generally, they're classed as foods. So because of that, you're not allowed to tell anyone what they're for. Apart from if you're using permitted health claims. But at the moment, the health claims only relate to vitamins and minerals. And there's so many more things that are good for us that nobody knows. We can't tell anyone.
No, that's the thing. And it's like, what the other point to that is, you see then people designing a food supplement in a way that allows it to make health claims. So they will put in a whisper of B6.
Yeah, you just have to put in 15% of the RDA to enable you to use the associated health claim. And in some cases, I get it. If the formulation's really good and people want to add in those small amounts to allow them to kind of signpost to their consumers what it's for, I understand why they're doing it. It's great and it's not going to do any harm. What I don't like is when they're formulations that are really poor and then they put bits in there that just, they've got a health claim and you think, wow, this is good for me. This has got the health claim and actually it's the other things in there. But we shouldn't have to go around the houses to tell people what's good for them.
We shouldn't have to go around the houses, and also it shouldn't. When that legislation came in that you could only say X, Y, Z about these vitamins and you only need this percentage, it just opened the floodgates to people doing that, putting the lowest amounts of those ingredients in to then make those health claims. Yeah. So it wasn't therapeutic dosages. Nope. It was never going to have an effect. And people getting preyed on who are probably going through a bad time, that they probably think they need some support and they crying out for a product and think, okay, this is the one. Like those A to Z multivitamins or...
Yeah. And they're great. They have a place. They certainly have a place. But then you have health needs that require a lot more. And that's where it gets frustrating, where you have supplements that we know have been used for hundreds of years, if not more, in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, and the data's there. And there's in a lot of instances, there's clinical data there, but there's certainly a long history of anecdotal data, and we're not allowed to communicate those things to people. And that's the bit that's really frustrating.
The most frustrating thing. Yeah. Maca, amazing superfood. We use it as one of our hero ingredients. Cannot say anything about it. I cannot legally say absolutely anything about that product apart from being used in traditional wellness. And even the word wellness I wasn't allowed to use. Yeah. And I was really? Wellness.
Wow.
And then there was something else I tussled over, reclaim your spark. And he was like, no, you can't have that. You're implying that there's a positive effect. I went, well, if we're going to go that far, then I was like, me making the product and putting it in a packet would be me implying that it's going to have a positive.
Otherwise, why would you sell it? Why would you invest in it?
So how far do you want to go with this?
Yeah.
That's how ridiculous it got. So I was like, oh my God. Anyway, but listen, I am somebody who toes the line, and we are really on the right side of the law with compliance. And I see loads of people who are not out there. The supplement industry is the Wild West, but it is frustrating that you can't, there's some incredible ingredients out there. I was listening to Stephen Bartlett's podcast recently, and he had a herbal biologist on there. Yeah. Probably the most famous in the UK, and I forget his name. Calvin, can you look it up? I want to say he's called Guy, but we'll come back to him.
Yeah, there's a few.
But he was talking about all these wonderful herbs and that he was using them in his practice. And I was like, well, how's he getting around saying these are brilliant?
Yeah, because it's one-to-one.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, you can get kind of things that practitioners can say on that one-to-one level. Obviously, they can go into a little bit more detail. Yeah. And responsible practitioners will work alongside GPs, medical support other healthcare professionals. And I think, but it is a grey area in terms of nutrition. There isn't really I'm a nutritional biochemist. I've got a degree in nutritional biochemistry, but a lot of people call themselves nutritionists and they're not. I would never say to somebody, oh, you've got, this disease, or it sounds like
IBS,
you've got that.
And here's a plan and I can sort you out.
If I'm really concerned, I'd say go to the doctors, get the diagnosis, see what they suggest, and then we can talk about how we can, intervene from a nutritional point of view. And that's the problem. But good practitioners and good herbalists will obviously work alongside people, because the irony is, and the MHRA knows, there's certain herbs that they say must not be taken because they might interact with medicines. So they're sort of implying, well, they work.
Yeah, exactly.
But we still can't tell anyone about them.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
blood thinners seems to be everything.
Simon Mills.
Okay. Okay, Simon Mills. Yeah. So that was a fascinating podcast.
Oh, I listened to that. Yeah,
really good.
Heard that one.
And he was talking about, helping fertility, PCOS, what herbs he uses. Yeah. He was going on about echinacea.
Yeah.
Which I've always been told to stay away from echinacea.
No, there's kind of two camps on echinacea. It's very good for your immune system. It's really good for upper respiratory tract infections. But people, if you are immunocompromised, it can promote white cell proliferation. So if you don't want an increase in your white cells, if you've got a blood cancer or something like that, then it's not advised. Yeah. And again, that's something you can't put that on the packaging. No. Although echinacea does fall under the traditional herbal medicinal products directive in the UK, so it's only supposed to be sold as a herbal medicine with certain warnings and things on it. But I've seen it all over the place. So I don't
tell me about it. I mean, even when I'm citing these offenders, in my defence, sometimes, I'm on Boots' website and I'm on Holland & Barrett's website, and they're like, well, just because they do it doesn't mean it's right. I was like, well, go and deal with them then first.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they should be setting the tone.
The biggest impact, and they're the ones who are setting the tone. And if they, they have a responsibility to do it. But I don't know. Part of me thinks, well, at least as long as they're telling the truth and actually saying what these products do, I like it.
Yeah,
but then it's really frustrating for everybody else who does get wrapped and told, no, you can't say that.
Well, I have to say, shout out to, the guy over at Cheshire East, because he was very patient with me, especially when I was finding it a very frustrating process to go through. And he was sound, to be honest. He was like, I'm just here to help you. I was like, I get that. And we ended up having a really good rapport. And somebody that I think I could call on whenever. I'd rather have him there by my side.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I'd rather work with them than against them.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I feel like that's
if you stick your head above the parapet, you're always going to get flagged at it. It is difficult, and most people know you're trying to do something that's good.
Well, that's why he was like, I can see you run your business right. You really are. You're not. He said there's loads of people who I ring up and they're just not receptive to me at all, and and then there's people who are claiming all kinds of wild stuff. This is going to fix ADHD or autism.
Well, they're claiming wild stuff, but then the products themselves aren't actually doing anything. As say, you've got products that are efficacious and you want to tell people about them, like your product, and you can't. But then you've got products that aren't efficacious and people are making the same sort of wild claims. And actually, at best, they're not going to be harmful. So that's great. And that's why, at Eye Ingredients, we're seeing this big rise in people wanting clinically supported ingredients because, TikTok and, it's like a massive retail area now that didn't exist,
even really 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say 20 years ago, never mind 20, like 5 years ago, it didn't exist. And now people are on there and they're listening to influencers, and the influencers aren't necessarily even celebrities or, they are just people who somebody connects with. And again, there's great positives to that because they're being influenced by somebody who they can identify with. And it's not kind of like aspirational and you're thinking, oh my God, there's no way I could ever look like that or sound like that or be like that or whatever. Now that's kind of, that barrier's gone. But these people have got, if they've got the wrong information and they perpetuate that, that's quite frightening. And some of the ingredients we see, and you're like, well, it's not standardized to the active in the product that is going to give those health benefits that's been studied. So what we're seeing now is we'd sort of have a little moan and go, oh God, all this stuff on TikTok, it's so cheap, it's going crazy. But then we're actually seeing people say, well, the health need exists. So people want something for GLP-1's the big thing at the moment, Berberine, sugar balancing. So Berberine was flooded, and you look at a lot of the products, they don't contain any actives and they won't work. So then people are going, well, actually, all these people have obviously bought this product because they have a problem with their blood sugar or a perceived problem, or they think it'll help with weight loss. And then that's where the clinically backed solutions come in. And you say, well, yeah, okay, we can fill that need state. And we've got a product that actually does work. And your influencers are going to say that anyway.
I just feel like if you're buying supplements off TikTok influencers, you've lost the plot.
There are some good brands on there though, but how do you know which are the good brands?
Well, you say that, but then under scrutinous testing, as we saw with a couple of weeks ago, had loads of lead in it. Then you've got so Consumer Lab tested the top 5 creatine gummies on the market. Yeah. And the top 3.
Don't get me started on gummies.
Classic Rachel, a woman after my own heart. I say all the time, gummies are for dummies.
Don't get me started on
just
gummies.
Pointless.
Yeah.
So gummies are for dummies.
Yeah.
But they contain 0 creatine.
Yeah.
And of all the ones, this particular one that had 0, so it was just a Haribo, essentially, was 50,000 units that sold in 1 month.
I know.
And I was like, oh my God.
I know.
A Haribo with margins. And the feedback on it was, this tastes really good. And I'm always like, if it tastes too good.
That was something that I posted about recently on LinkedIn. We've taken the joy of food a little bit too far, maybe. And we want our supplements to taste like candy, and we're seeing functional candy. And it's brilliant. If you've got a kid who won't take a vitamin pill or swallow it, and they'll take it in a gummy, then brilliant. And they're fine for some other things as well. But there's certain things where, like, we're adults.
I am with you.
Just take it.
So much. Oh my God, I have got an unflavoured liposomal vitamin C. Yeah. That is like...
they're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? And I drink that like sometimes 3 times a day. I'll have a swig.
Yeah.
Well, especially if I'm feeling ill and I need to battle on, I'll take another swig.
And you just get on with it. And in France and other countries, they actually used to say, if it tastes bad, it's good for you.
Of course.
So they actually had their tonics that like tasted awful. They were sort of herbal extracts and they were absolutely dreadful. And the company, and I can't remember the name of them now, but huge kind of old French pharma company, and they reformulated it to make it taste nice. Nobody bought it. Because they were like, well, it stopped working.
Of course.
So it was that kind of awful.
Reassuringly disgusting. Yeah. It should be.
That should be a brand name, shouldn't it? Reassuringly disgusting. But I have these bran flake things every morning and they just look horrific. They're just complete bran. There's no sugar or anything.
And it's just pure fibre.
And it's just pure fibre, but I need it. And it's not. And everyone's like, oh, God, how do you eat that? And I'm like, well, it's I don't love it, but not every meal have to be Instagram worthy or taste amazing. I'm an adult.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And that is one of the things that people say to us. They're like, don't like the taste. I'm like, get over it.
Yeah, well, you're not.
I don't like vodka either, but you'll get drunk. Yeah. You know what I mean? I bet you've had, and I always say, I bet you've swallowed worse in your life.
That's a whole other topic. But yeah, absolutely. And it's 2 seconds in your mouth.
I know.
Just get on with it.
Get on with it. Yeah, honestly. Well, I'm like you, just a bit like grow up. It's going to have positive benefit, benefits definitely.
Yeah.
Then I'm all for it. So I feel like you're a woman after my own heart. You see the frustrations going on in the supplement space, and then you see the people who are in it for the right reasons, like people like yourselves, and and then I see a lot of people who are super unscrupulous, ecom bros sat in their bedrooms and don't know anything about the industry. Do never touch a product, never care about the customer. Customer's just a number.
No.
They'll have got a pile of money off somebody.
Yeah, and I really admire that entrepreneurial spirit. I absolutely love it. And the fact that somebody can say, right, there's a gap here. I think I've got a product that can make it work. But do your homework. There's loads of formulators around. There's loads of companies like iIngredients. Obviously, we're the best, but there's loads of companies like us who can help you formulate products in different dosage formats. And you'll fill that gap with a good product. And okay, it might not be the cheapest one, but it will be the best. And consumers are savvy. There's a cost of living crisis. People aren't going to keep paying out. You might sell loads overnight and that's it. And if that's your business model, fine. But to make an actual difference and really, really continue, with a sustainable business, your products have got to work. You've got to work.
Yeah. But I think the way I see I run my business and these people who run their business, and I know them, I'm friendly with them and stuff like that. But what a different way of running our business. Like my customers can personally get hold of me.
Yeah,
like they can message me. On Instagram, whether I like that or I don't.
Yeah,
that's what they do if they're not happy. So I know that. Yeah. So I'm always going to put my best foot forward.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Oh, Alyssa, I haven't had a reply to this. Or sometimes they've got my number, they just text me and I'm like, oh my God. I can't imagine, a lot of people doing this or taking the time to reply in the way that they do. And it's definitely not scalable, but, rightly or wrongly, I lean on my customers a lot because I want their feedback and I want to bring them into the business and build that community with them. So it's got to be a two-way street as well.
Yeah, it has.
I wish I sometimes could be just sat there, never touching product, just kind of behind a computer screen looking at figures and just throwing ads out into the world.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, would you? And you'd be bored.
No, exactly. Don't know.
There's nothing like dealing with your customers face to face to really refine your message and your brand.
Tell me about it. No, you're absolutely right. But sometimes I look at these lads and I'm thinking, it would be nice to be sat in Dubai and Bali right now.
Oh, I know. And they're
just on their
pictures on their jets. And,
I know.
I only work 4 hours a week. And you're like, geez, okay, that's...
not quite my lifestyle at the moment.
No,
what do you think the biggest trend you've seen then coming up in the supplement space, or what people ringing you about the most recently?
GLP-1 support is massive. So you've got, people who want to take GLP-1 but can't, either because they don't actually need to or because they can't afford it. And then you've got people who are taking it and it has its
side effects.
And then you've got people who've stopped taking it. What do we do then with people who have stopped taking it? And the fascinating thing about GLP-1, and again, I did something recently, the 6 hunger hormones, but GLP-1's the famous one at the moment. So that's fine as long as people are talking about them. But with GLP-1, it actually seems to switch off that food noise. And they found, it must have been in the States. Obviously, it's been around a long time in lower dosages as a diabetic medication. But in the States, when they started prescribing it for obesity, the side effect that they didn't really expect was that addiction reduced.
Yeah.
So not just food addiction, because, for people who are morbidly obese, they're not morbidly obese because they want to fancy a big bag of chips.
It just,
it's a psychological issue. It's a mental issue. Can be a mental issue. And they found that they actually said, gosh, that food noise has switched off, or they were self-medicating with other things as well.
Or drinking.
So it wasn't just food.
I know people
drinking,
who are on it, they just like don't even want to be here
don't
anymore.
even want to drink.
Yeah.
So exactly. So I think that's the bit where there is the science behind that, and it's about tapping into that and how can we, when people stop taking it after 2 years, if they do, how that's going to be regulated. I'm not quite sure at this stage. But yeah, how do they stop that? Because people will just, if that food noise comes back, that's going to be very, you'd hope 2 years and people lose the weight quickly, that 2 years, if they do stay on it for 2 years, that will be long enough to create those healthy habits. But it's all right to say that.
I lived on a desert island for 6 weeks as part of Bear Grylls Island.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And I experienced rapid weight loss purely because there was no food and that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Starving to death on an island.
You eat everything when you got off?
Yeah. So, and that's the only time, obviously, I can equate to something like this.
Yeah.
Rapid weight loss very quickly to the point where my period stopped because it got so low.
In 6 weeks?
6 weeks, yeah. So I missed my next period. And then I was back to normal weight. Yeah. But not only did I get back to normal weight very quickly, the amount of weight that I put on after it was significant.
Yeah.
And I was the biggest I'd ever been in my life.
That's because your body goes into that kind of shock.
So I feel like the bounce back of weight wasn't just the weight back that I'd lost.
Yeah.
It was plus 20% more.
I'd have sued for that. I'd have sued Bear for that.
Tell me about it. So, I remember going to China, doing the Great Wall of China straight after it, and I won't even look at the pictures of it because I am so big on it.
Oh,
honestly, I can't even look at the pictures. But I worry about people who come off it.
Yeah.
Because
same.
I've got a friend who was on it, and yes, she was bigger, and she tried to lose the weight herself, but then she'd put on weight rapidly.
Yeah.
So it'd come on really rapidly. She'd put on like 4 stone really quickly in like a matter of months.
Yeah.
So it was crazy. Anyway, she was really trying to work hard. It'd probably taken her 18 months to lose the weight, really going at it, but was using the pen. And now she's not on it anymore. She's like always weighing herself, stressing if she's putting on weight all the time.
I do worry about the increase in eating disorders.
Well, this is the thing, but she's a woman of my generation, and I think we have grown up in that 90s, 2000s.
Don't eat any fat.
Do you remember when? Well, I just was growing up as a teenage girl, and I was quite a chunky teenager, chunky girl. All I wanted to be was thin.
Yeah.
That's all.
Not strong, not muscular, nothing. Just thin.
Thin.
Yeah.
Misha Barton, like rail thin, Nicole Richie.
That heroin chic, isn't it?
Lindsay Lohan. They were all like properly anorexic. Yeah. That's all I wanted to look like.
Yeah.
And still, to some degree, still think that today.
It never leaves you. If you've experienced some sort of body dysmorphia or eating disorder, it's like alcoholism, you're never cured.
No.
You're in recovery, but you're never cured. It's always that gremlin on your shoulder that kind of saying. So I used to be an eating disorders counsellor years ago, and I just don't get the time to dedicate to it properly. So I haven't done it for several years. So I can't call myself a counselor anymore. I haven't done the hours. But yeah, that again, it's really complex, and that obviously would be people desperate to be thin, or people who were morbidly obese who just could not stop eating. And that mindset of the people who were anorexic, they weren't gone beyond the point of they want to be thin.
Yeah,
it goes further than that. And then the people who are morbidly obese, it goes beyond that. Well,
it's honestly, I can pinpoint times, locations, what I was wearing at the time. People have called me fat all through my life.
Oh, that's so sad, isn't it?
That's how much of an effect it has on me and my perception.
It's
and
hard,
even if I put on a couple of pounds, I'm going, oh my God, I'm fat. I ask Danny all the time, am I going to look too fat in this? That's like all my messages back and forward to him.
Oh, bless. I hate hearing that.
No, it's true, but that's just my thing.
And I think, I don't know, maybe it's now I've got older and like my story has changed, and now maybe I genuinely give less F's about it. But I do. It's sad. You look, and I say to my younger friends now, I look back at pictures. I used to look back at pictures of myself just after I'd had my son, and I just think, God, I look fat. And now I look back and I go, God, I look young.
Yeah.
It's like really awesome. And I'm like, enjoy that.
There's never been a time where I've ever gone, I'm happy.
Yeah.
With at any point I've ever looked at.
I'm a little bit like that. I go through stages and I'm like to my husband, don't put that, because he puts everything on Facebook.
I know.
And I don't put much on Facebook. And he's like, put everything on. And then I get messages
unfiltered.
From people going,
oh my God.
And I'm like, oh my God, will you not put everything on Facebook? I just want to enjoy it without thinking,
that it's going to get publicised. Just want to enjoy the moment.
Shot on Facebook. Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm with you. Well, trust me, doing the podcast every week, and I sit here and just watch it back and rip myself apart, and I'm like,
oh my God, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
But so that's interesting. So GLP-1 support.
If we can find something to create that GLP-1 feeling, saying there's 6 hunger hormones altogether, but if we can find something that creates that same thing about GLP-1 that, that switches off that noise, I call it food noise. And it's, for me, I've done it. And it was trialing. I do loads of experiments on myself because I do that. And I just try different things. And I've done it, and that, I work from home a lot of the time, and that used to be shocking a few years ago. It's just the fridge is just calling your name every 2 minutes, and you're like, oh God, what shall I have now? Constant snacking, and it's hard. So if you can find a way to turn that off, and that 5 o'clock, or is it wine o'clock? Let's go. It's all these things that are just not great habits.
I'm pretty disciplined, and when I lock on, I'm like, that's it, and I'll track every bit morsel of food that goes in my mouth.
Yeah,
and if I'm locked on, I'll do like a 12-week stint of like 1,600 calories, no more than that. Everything weighed out to perfection. Water, coffee, that's it. I can be disciplined, but also, what kind of life is that?
Yeah, exactly. And it is about the balance, isn't it? And true balance is, because I used to do this kind of all or nothing.
Yeah.
I can be, the healthiest person on the world, and then I go off the rails and go crazy. And it's not healthy, and for your weight, that's kind of binge starve kind of thing, or, or deprivation. It doesn't work. I mean, your desert island experience is extreme, but we know it doesn't work. The body starts clinging on to calories because it's panicking about where the next meal is.
Can I just say, when I walked off that island, I looked the best I've ever looked in my life.
I bet you didn't. I'm sorry, but I bet you didn't.
I was so tanned. I had, you know what I mean? My teeth were so white. My hair was just wild with nature.
I'm going to look up pictures now, and I'll message you, and I'll go, you did not. You did not.
I was super skinny. I looked incredible. But yeah, loved it. So if people are listening to this and they don't want to do GLP-1 and they are looking for some support, what could they take?
That fibre is absolutely key. I mean, there's nutrients as well, but the first thing is fibre and getting enough fibre. And fibre is having a moment, and people are talking about fibre maxing. And then you get other people go, you need protein. And I'm like, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can have protein and fibre. It's not just, I'm having fibre now, I'm not having any protein. We absolutely need protein, but make sure you get fibre as well. So beans I'm obsessed with beans. Everyone who knows
daughter's obsessed with beans. Beans every day.
They're just brilliant. They're full of protein, especially for, aging women. They're just amazing. They're full of protein. They're full of fibre. They're filling. So beans and a good high fibre diet do start to release your
30 plants a week.
Yes, 30 or 30, anything. But keep that different coloured plants, because they've all got different polyphenols in, different antioxidants. So, yeah. 100%.
There is, I'm talking about GLP-1 support. So I came across this product called Calo Curb. I don't know if you're going to bring it up, Calvin or Amy, called Calo Curb. Apparently it had been funded by the New Zealand government.
Okay.
So got it sent from New Zealand, tried it, and I said take 1 to 2 tablets to start. So obviously I took 2 straight off and felt sick immediately.
It's an appetite suppressant, is it?
Yeah, have a look what it's got in it though. It's got some kind of
bean extract or
bark.
Something.
It's got some kind of bark in it. And I was like, how's this working? But I really felt like shit all day.
Yeah.
So I had to go back to bed.
And no, that's not ideal.
Well, it's not. And I
just
thought,
have a spoonful of beans.
Have I just overdosed on it a bit? I don't know, but it wasn't good.
It's a food supplement, is it?
Food supplement. And then it just kept appearing every month. I've got so many tubs of it. And I was like, oh my God, couldn't get in touch with them to cancel my subscription. But it was just, I just got it for a bit of R&D, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you got it up there? What's the ingredients in that, Calvin?
I've never seen that.
sure it's got bark in it.
Bark.
Yeah, that was like it's active. And it was, I don't know, I thought it would seem to be, of all the ones out there, the most.
I'm not finding any ingredients.
Well, that's always a worry. But I did take a picture of it.
Yeah, that's a concern.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for this?
Oh, it's about 60 quid.
Oh my God.
Amaracate hops extract,
Hops.
canola oil, and rosemary leaf extract.
That was it, Amaracite. This is a patented bitter hops flower extract from a very specific variety of hops grown in New Zealand in a delayed release capsule.
Okay.
It activates bitter taste receptors in the small intestine. This triggers the natural release of hormones, GLP-1, CCK, and PYY.
Oh, they're good ones. They're good hormones. Good hormones to release, yeah.
Which signal to the brain that you are full, helping to reduce appetite and cravings.
I've never heard of that particular extract.
It's patented.
Yeah.
So I wonder where I'm pretty sure, if I remember rightly from reading the research, that the New Zealand government have funded a bit of it.
Okay.
Anyway, that was one. The science behind it. Yeah, I'm sure it's doing some amazing.
Yeah, there is products that do that. I mean, a healthy microbiome is absolutely key because a lot of these hormones are made in the digestive system anyway, and having a healthy microbiome really helps. So good probiotics can be really helpful for PYY, CKK as well.
Yeah, so probiotics is a question I get asked a lot. What probiotics do you use? And full disclosure, I don't really use any. I have at moments in my life, and then not. And there was one I bought recently, and then I had a gut health expert on. She was like, "You might want to cancel that one." And I was like, "Okay, say no more." So she was like, "It's got really good strains in it, but in such low doses, it's not going to do anything."
Yeah,
which is also the issue.
Yeah,
with a lot of supplements, and it was very smoke and mirrors packaging. Shall we say, and capsule delivery. Yeah. So, where do you stand on probiotics? Should we be taking them? Do you think we can just get everything
No, I think probiotics are great. It's an insurance. If your diet is really, really good and you're having lots of fermented foods and, kimchi and kefir and all of these things.
Hard to get hold of though, isn't it?
I know. And I know, don't get me started on that as well. And people go, just make your own. Just do your own. I'm like, I've got enough to do.
I know. I know. Sauerkraut. Let's make your own sauerkraut.
Just make your own.
Yeah.
Just make your own. Yeah.
I know.
No, they can be hard to get hold of, but and if you can include those in your diet every day and things like temper, then that's great. For the rest of us, just a probiotic supplement can be really, really helpful.
Is there any that you particularly recommend?
BioCare are always good. They're a good brand with good probiotics. Always worth looking at their formulations. We represent a company called Symbalance. They don't sell their products directly to the public. We have customers that are using them in their formulations. Right. Probiotics don't like to be combined with anything.
Would you do a prebiotic and a probiotic together? You can do. Would you say that's more beneficial than?
It can be if you're lacking. Yeah, you need prebiotics to feed the probiotics. If you don't eat any plant foods, then you're not getting any prebiotics. But if you're having a normal diet and you're eating plenty of onions and this kind of thing, you'll be getting quite a lot of prebiotics and garlic. And
where do you stand on the carnivore diet?
I did try the Atkins diet many years ago, and I did lose weight. And I know because I used to track everything that I was having a lot more calories. So everyone was saying, well, you're just eating less. And I was like, no, I'm absolutely not. I tracked my calories. I tracked my calories for 4 weeks beforehand on my standard diet. Then track my calories on the Atkins diet, which is similar to the carnivore diet. And I know I was having probably 40% more calories.
Right.
And I lost weight. And that absolutely fascinated me. But it's no way to live.
No, of course not.
It's no way to live, is it?
And I just think everything we know about nutrition, like you're saying, you need a gut microbiome these days.
We're omnivores.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, there's there's people out there who claim to be really credible people who are absolutely dying on that hill of you shouldn't be eating any plants, you shouldn't be eating any fruit or veg, and really putting this information out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can tell you right now, I'll just go back to my desert island experience.
Yeah.
Right? Because that is
What did you eat on there then?
Correct. What did I eat on there? Because it was inconceivable to think that I was going to be able to, or we as a group were going to be able to hunt 3 times a day, every day, and get a kill of just meat. Yeah. Right? Impossible. In fact, it only happened once in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? So these people on carnivore diets, it's just that's not reality. You know, people say, "Oh, that's how we're meant to live. That's our bodies." No, well, it's not, because I've literally lived that lifestyle. Yeah. And guess what I did in between? I ate coconut. I ate beach almonds. Yeah. I ate heart of palm. Yeah. And all of those were plant fibers. Yeah. And and fruits and things like that. And it was just. So I always bring up that argument. I'm like, well, you haven't ever lived like that. You go to that desert island and you go and do your carnivore diet.
I think that just a meat-based diet would be adequate. I mean, we are omnivores and we haven't really evolved.
I'll send you a couple of videos that'll just.
I'll be fuming.
Yeah, you
wait for the post on LinkedIn. I'll be shouting about that.
You will literally just be like, what? This guy is crackers.
Yeah. Well, by the same token, I really applaud people who want to be vegan for the, the animal cruelty purposes and the ethical purpose of that. But it's very difficult to be vegan and be healthy, and I hear people screaming already, without really working hard at it. You have to work really
supplementing
hard
your B12
to make sure you've got an adequate, nutritious diet if you're completely vegan. Pescatarian, vegetarian, it's much easier to manage. But if people do it, I really do salute them. And I know other people will say, well, it's not about me, it's not about my health, it doesn't matter, it's a small price to pay. That's okay. But there's, especially again for women as we get older, we need adequate sources of protein. We need a lot of things that are quite difficult to get from plant, not impossible, but more difficult to get from plant sources.
Definitely. I mean, vegans always cite, well, the gorillas are massive, and they eat plants all day, and horses are massive and they eat plants all day, and so are rhinos. I'm like, well, they're also eating all day.
Yeah, dinosaurs eat plants all day as well.
All day. You're not eating 24 hours a day. You'd have to eat bags and bags of spinach every single minute of the day.
Yeah, dinosaurs ate lots of plants, and that didn't work out so well for them.
Yeah, it's okay. So GLP-1 support is a big one. Yeah. I can imagine that you must be getting calls all the time on longevity.
Longevity, cellular health, that's the other
buzzwords.
The other main one. And I love it. It's brilliant. We've focused for so long on what we look like, and that being an indicator of our health. And that's impossible to indicate, to guess now. You can't necessarily meet somebody and look at them like, as a nutritionist, so it's 30 years, more than 30 years since I've done clinical practice, but people would come to me and I'd look at them and I could see what was lacking in their diet. And that was in the early 90s, and it was always fat because nobody ate any fat. We were scared of it. So I was like, have some olive oil. It just wasn't common then. But now that's really hard because people have all these treatments and you can't tell necessarily looking at somebody what they might be lacking. So I like the fact now that we are looking at that cellular health side, because those indicators that you could see in people's face and skin wasn't about how they looked, it was about what was going on the inside. And now we are kind of saying, okay, we've solved the outside, there's also so much we can do to look better, but what about the inside? How do we know what's going on in there? And, and it was the same. We had people who were naturally very slim who would say, well, I'm really healthy, I'm slim. And actually they weren't.
No, they had zero muscle tissue.
Of people dropping dead, in their 40s and 50s and things, and they weren't healthy. They had lots of underlying issues. But we saw slimness as the kind of the barometer of health, and that's not the case. So yeah, I think yes, cellular health, longevity, senescent cells.
Yeah.
So I was looking at zombie cells yesterday and some nutritional support for zombie cells, and again, a lot of that is plant based. There are clinically supported ingredients that can help clear out zombie cells because we need zombie cells. They're great for us when we're younger. They help to actually protect us against disease, but they accumulate as we get older, and that's when they start to cause a little bit of chaos, and we need to kind of brush them out. And we can do that by eating a really good plant-based diet. Lots of different, I mean, there's like eat a rainbow, which kind of a bit of an overused phrase now, but it is really useful. So all those fruits and veg with different colours have a different action, and they're really good for us. But there is supplementation and ingredients that can help support that as well and get rid of those cells.
Yeah. Where do you stand on electrolytes? Because this is the absolute buzzword at the moment. Every company I ever see is doing electrolytes.
Yeah. I mean, hydration's brilliant. I mean, it's like, it always makes me giggle because
I feel like that people are telling us like water's not enough anymore.
I know.
They're literally trying to tell me that if you're drinking water, you're a loser.
I know. And and there is that if you drink too much water, and we got obsessive because we like to get obsessive, don't we? Somebody says drink 2 litres of water. Well, I'm going to drink 8 litres of water just to see. And that can flush your natural salts out of your body. And that's not healthy for you. You need roughly 2 litres of water a day. It depends on your size and everything else, a few other factors. But roughly 2 litres a day is a good kind of gauge. If you're exercising a lot, if you live in a particularly hot place, then if you're a particularly sweaty person, you might be losing some of those electrolytes, and you might benefit from additional ones. And I think in lower levels, you're not harming yourself adding those. I always think add something else as well.
I mean, I sometimes put like a bit of a grind of Himalayan salt in a drink in the morning.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's good enough. I really don't need to be spending 20, 30 quid on a pack of electrolytes for a month.
Yeah, I mean, if you eat a banana and you have a little bit of salt and you're probably getting enough. Magnesium is key. We know that
obviously I take my magnesium, which is amazing.
Yeah. And we know, a lot of people we're seeing the benefits of more magnesium.
Yeah.
We've got a brilliant product, which is like trace mineral drops that has got magnesium in, but it's got all these other trace minerals in. And again, the kind of ones that are more low key and we don't really talk about them.
So another one of my obsessive areas is water. And TDS level, which is total dissolvable solids.
Yeah.
It's something I bore people with constantly. And it's
you won't bore me, honestly.
Mineral content in water.
Yeah.
And you go to like Spain and they've got a lovely water called Vichy Catalan.
Yeah.
And it's really thick.
Yeah.
It's really thick. And do you know why it's really thick? Because it's got so many minerals in it.
Yeah.
It's a really great water to have. And then you've got things like smart water, which is complete crap. Nothing in that.
I'll send you these magnesium drops because we tried them for the first time a couple of months ago. We had product training on them. And the guy's brilliant, Irish guy, and he was explaining to us why this water, because you can get these trace mineral complexes from the Salt Lakes, Utah, but he was explaining it, saying, well, these are dead spaces, whereas their mineral drops come from living water, they come from the Irish Sea, so that's better for you. And he said it makes your water heavier and it makes the bubbles rounder. And we were like, what?
Yeah.
And he put it in fizzy water and you were like, oh my, it almost felt like they weren't going to burst. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's brilliant. So we all took it and we all said, oh my God, best night's sleep for ages.
Oh, wow.
Just,
There's another product I got sent and it was seawater.
Yeah.
It was just
This is what this is,
Oh,
seawater.
But does it come in like glass ampules? And
No, this is in a pipette.
Oh, right, okay.
So it's in a pipette bottle. But yeah, this is seawater, but it's kind of extra distilled and refined.
Yeah.
And they call it heavy water.
Right.
And it's just like, it just blew me away.
Yeah, it tasted awful.
Yeah.
This seawater, but had all those minerals in it. And I had that about 5 years ago. They sent it me. I can't remember the name of the company now. And they obviously weren't doing a good job of marketing because it's not out. I still haven't seen it on the market anywhere apart from buying it direct, unless they're like pumping it into people.
Yeah, I've seen one brand, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
what product they use. I think that's the Utah, the Salt Lakes one,
right.
which the Irish guy that we worked with was saying, well, nothing lives in those salt lakes. So you want something that's got this sort of sustains life, which makes sense. Anyway, I tried.
So is he like a wholesaler?
He owns the company that actually
pulls it out.
That mines the water.
I've got an idea for that.
Yeah.
If he ever wants to ring me up and say, what's your idea? If he ever wants a fucking viral marketing plan for that, I've got one.
He will.
Because I honestly, he's going to have to throw a little bit of money at it. But I'm telling you now, I'll put that on the map because I thought about this the other day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. No, it's amazing.
And I even wrote it down, so I'm going to show you.
It's got clinical studies. It's one of the most studied ingredients.
Maybe I should do this amazing marketing plan.
You do it.
I should do.
Do it under your brand.
What does he look like, this guy?
I couldn't possibly say. He looks like a man.
In my head.
He's got a head, he's got arms, he's got legs.
In my head,
he's called Brian.
I'm seeing Jamie Dornan, right? You know, in my head, that's what I'm hoping he looks like. But no, super interesting. So water's another passion of mine.
He's a human man.
Okay, keep it PC. Yeah. And I can bore people over the dinner table with water all day long. And I've always said I'd love to go to a water cafe or even open a water cafe.
I always used to drink Evian because I really liked the level of minerals in it. Well, that was years ago. And everyone would laugh at me.
I'm a real San Pellegrino kind of
San
girl.
Pellegrino as well. I'm Badois.
Yeah.
I love Badois. That's so nice. And you can't really get it that much here, but I absolutely love Badois.
I buy crates. My office is just full of Aquapana and San Pellegrino in a glass bottle. That's the other thing I'm obsessive with as well.
Yeah.
Obsessive. Like to the point where I'm probably dehydrated most of the day because if it's not come in a glass bottle, I won't drink it. And I'm like, it pains me when I go to like Starbucks and I'm like, I need a water. And it comes, I don't know, it's a hang up I've got, but spend my life dehydrated.
You do you. It's fine.
Yeah, I know. I've got not many vices. My addiction, going back to addictions, is shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know, like, I can't stop buying clothes. I really can't.
Oh, I
and
hate shopping.
I had to go into Zara the other day to take stuff back that didn't fit or I didn't like. And I had to keep my head down and just look at the floor because I thought, if I see something in here, I'm going to go and buy loads of stuff again.
I was listening to your Andrew Steele podcast about you getting angry in Zara.
Zara. Yeah, I did. So having a real bad day and they wouldn't take something back. And I was like,
I just lost it.
Yeah.
Just lost it.
Because I was like, talk about customer service in Zara, there's none. And I'm only swapping the top. It's not that I'm taking it back. There's no more money leaving.
God, I've opened the floodgates.
Yeah, I just couldn't get my head around how rude customer service can be, especially when I bend over backwards in our business.
Yeah.
Even when people have moved house and haven't told us. And I'm like, sorry.
Yeah,
must have
my fault. I should have known.
Must have left our crystal ball at home that day, so we'll sort it for you. But yeah, that's how much we bend over. Do you know what I mean? But that's why we're a premium product. Yeah. Zara is not. So if I could have some kind of switch off for that addiction, that would be great.
Or maybe.
Because my phone just knows, it just throws clothes at me all day long. Yeah. And it's hard.
You could throw your phone away.
Well, I would if I didn't have a business to run, for sure. So so electrolytes then, I personally just think, what's the point?
I think if you're exercising or, I
think if you're a marathon runner, fine. But I'm seeing like mums doing Pilates once or twice a week and taking electrolytes.
It's the same with energy drinks, isn't it? People used to think, and they were massive. And you go and watch, five-a-side football and people would have like 2 Monster Energies. Yeah. And you're like, hang on a minute. You'd literally need to run about 50 miles to burn off those calories, not do 20 minutes of five-a-side. And it's a similar thing. We've all gone, oh yeah, this is amazing. Yeah. We're trying to optimize, but actually just making a really expensive wee for yourself. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Because if your body doesn't need it, it's just going to wee it out anyway. Yeah. And actually too high sodium levels. Yeah. Then it's not going to be good for you. And you've got to look how these things are formulated as well, what ratio they're in. Yeah. Are they going to absorb well? Yeah. There's one product that one of my customers was saying to me, and I just didn't know where to go with this and I asked 2 people yesterday who one was a professor and one was another scientist, and they were like, doesn't make sense to me. So it was an electrolyte drink that was electrolytes and a diuretic. And that's how they're selling it. And I was like, okay. Oh, how's that working? I'm perplexed by that one.
Yeah, I was.
I'd have to look and see if they've got some logic behind it. I mean, if your electrolytes are in balance, then they could possibly have a diuretic effect, because if you're not hydrated, obviously you might retain fluid if you're retaining sodium. So it's about balance, but that would be to do a catch-all product. So if somebody's low in sodium, it could
I'll show it you now.
help.
I won't mention the brand name, but I'll just show you, because it just, I don't know, I'd never come across it. And then one of my customers asked me, I was like, I actually don't know where to go with this, because I can't see how it would make sense. But then I said, I've got an expert on the pod, so let's ask them. And then, like I said, I asked my boffins yesterday, and they were also perplexed by it. So I was a bit like...
Yeah.
Right. There you go.
Okay, I know the brand. I haven't seen that particular product. So.
And they actually like pull it out as like a positive. And we're still struggling to try and figure out why.
I assume it's to do with balancing sodium levels, because if your sodium's too high or too low, or your electrolytes are out of balance, you will retain water. But how do you know if you are low?
There was, so did a bit of digging. There was some instances where the NHS might do that, but it was for people with kidney failure.
Yes, I was going to say, it's, you get the banana bags, as they call them, which are like high potassium IV drips, can cause a diuretic effect, but that's...
But it was in extreme cases.
Yeah, exactly.
Not our everyday.
I've never seen it for kind of...
Average
there is
consumer.
diuretic tablets and available, and there's herbals that can help. And they used to be marketed, tend to be of people with PMS who get, premenstrual bloating, water retention and that kind of thing. But I haven't...
No.
I mean, it'll be to do with balancing the levels of salt. But
I can't imagine, unless you are suffering with kind of a liver injury or a real bad kidney issue, that is going to be required.
No, that's perplexing, that one. But I will look into it a bit more and see if
I can come back
with anything. But
me and a couple of guys yesterday were looking at it and thinking, don't know, doesn't seem right to me. And
I mean, if you haven't got enough salts, you'll retain water. So it is just about balance. But how do you know which?
I think it's a bit smoke and mirrors, that one.
Yeah.
If you ask me. So, and the other thing I wanted to ask you about, NAD.
Yes.
Another hot topic.
Yeah.
I've had loads of people talk about NAD on this couch, and I still haven't come to a conclusion in my head.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different versions of it. And then there's really, I'm friendly with Dr. Nicola Conlon. She's been on the pod as well, who has Nuchido.
Yeah.
Which she's in the camp of, you can't just put NAD into your bloodstream. It's too big of a molecule, and it's not where it goes anyway. It's in your cells.
Yeah.
But what you can do is help it with precursors.
Yeah.
Which is the camp she's in. She's very much the NR.
Yeah, with NMN and NR. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas then you've got other people who are like, no, you can just take pure NAD.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And then you've got other people who are injecting it.
Yeah.
Which is super expensive.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
I think there's other things for kind of cellular health and anti-aging and longevity. I think NMN and NR have got a lot more research behind them in supplementation form. NMN is novel foods in the UK, which is not very helpful.
No, I know it's just hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
I have to get mine over from America.
Yes, yeah. So you can't market it in the UK, which is a bit of a shame, because I think there's definitely benefits there. NAD, I don't think the research really supports it for
subcutaneous injections.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would say the majority of people who've been sat here said that's as well, which is why I haven't done it.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's driving that conversation about longevity and cellular health. And I say, we know there's lots that we can do. I mean, Brian Johnson, I'm fascinated by him and his Do Not Die.
Yeah.
I mean, he's mad as a badger, and you'd need a few billion to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
But fair enough. He's taking it for the team, isn't he?
He
Let's see what
is, but he's also
happens.
monetizing it along the way
He is
as
that,
well.
yeah, of course, yeah,
and
with his
all he
blueprint.
does, all he does is white label the products.
Yeah.
These aren't well thought out. You know how he's going on about, calories have to fight for their life in my diet?
Yeah.
Well, his whole meal plan, because some guy did like a whole uncovering of it.
Yeah.
His entire meal plan is just a white labeled of other meal plans that you can get online.
Is
but
it?
he's charging 20% more for it and calling it the blueprint plan.
Yeah.
But it's still fulfilled by this company.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like,
Yeah.
And then in some of his earlier episodes on YouTube, he was talking about he takes thyroid medication and he also takes testosterone.
Yeah.
So he takes all
so
these
much-
things.
Yeah.
And then he goes on about having the testosterone levels of like an 18-year-old boy. And I'm like, well, yeah, because you supplement. It's not like because you're superhuman, mate, because you're actually taking testosterone.
Yeah.
Well,
And
anyone
he's
could do
taking
that.
so many different products.
And he's
How do you really know
and
which?
he's going on
which
about his
one?
thyroid levels being amazing. I was like, you're also taking thyroxine.
Yeah.
So we could all do that then if we want to test ourselves.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like,
No, it's all very odd, but I find it interesting. And some of the things he's taking
I think
are
he
great.
is a genius marketeer.
Yeah.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
He really is in that respect. In terms of marketing, what a great job he's doing. Because we're talking about him. I talk about him a lot on here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think, some of the things
Still love
that
to
he's
meet
got, yeah, same. Some of the things like, he takes ashwagandha, he takes astaxanthin.
Yeah.
These are products that we know are absolute powerhouses that
Where
can't
do you
get
stand
well
on
in your diet.
ashwagandha? Because Denmark have just banned it.
Have they?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Why?
they said it was
People too happy,
too dangerous, causing abortions. Yeah.
Ashwagandha?
Yeah. If you're taking it
Really?
for longer than 4 weeks, it can really harm you, really toxic for your liver.
Is that recent? I haven't
Recent,
seen.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
About
surprised
6
I haven't had
months
an alert
ago.
on that.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, they banned it. And
Okay.
then
I don't,
I'm very in with other regulators and compliance officers. How boring. But I get like updates all the time on things
Okay.
like news.
Normally do, but I hadn't seen
Yeah.
something on ashwagandha. I think ashwagandha's been used for
I love it.
many, many, many years.
I love it.
In pregnancy, it's very difficult, what to recommend. I mean, generally,
Well,
as a nutritionist, I'd say take fish oils.
Don't
make sure you're getting a good
I just don't recommend.
multivitamin.
I'm like, don't take the golden pill. There's not enough data on anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight no.
Exactly. And that's the same as I'd say. Fish oils and a good multivitamin are great for pregnancy. I wouldn't suggest taking anything else.
I agree.
Or certainly
breastfeeding.
herbals. We know that herbals are really potent. That's why we like them. But we haven't done studies on pregnant women for obvious reasons.
Exactly.
So yeah, no, I have to look into that one. But
Yeah.
I'd say it's been going for
I agree.
years.
Huberman goes on about it, but he
yeah.
does always say you've got to cycle off it.
Yeah.
Although I met a lady the other day at a conference, she's been taking such a high dose for 7 years. And I was like, fair play to you.
Yeah.
Because you can overstimulate your receptors, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's good to cycle off and then it comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of herbals. Tribulus, I love.
Yes.
I fell in love with that. And
Yeah.
even when I rang the manufacturer, they were like, is this a men's gym stack? I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm going to give it to women and for their libido.
Yeah.
And they were like, fair play. There is some clinical data on
Yeah.
it. But again, I'm not allowed to say it.
No.
So I have to go around the houses in the way I say
Yeah,
it.
but Tribulus and Maca, I mean, brilliant for women. It's like creatine
Yeah.
as well. Before, creatine was just gym bro.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going mad for creatine. Not in gummy format, thank you. but
Yeah,
just
take it straight
Just
up.
take
It's so
straight
cheap as well.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones that I was thinking we should probably bring out as a product, but then I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's not special enough for me.
No.
And a bit like you can get it from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get, you can get kind of branded creatines and things.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're going to do one, do something with something else and something
Yeah,
a bit cleverer. That's,
Exactly.
yeah,
Than just
that
a
people
straight up
want.
creatine
Yeah.
monohydrate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it's having so many positive effects.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they test it on menopausal ladies and their brain health, I believe.
And that's a massive,
Yeah.
massive area. And we're not talking about that enough. So we are talking more about HRT, which is fantastic for people who can take it, or at least for people who can't, they're getting more information. but we're not really talking about mental health. And, you know, the suicide rate for women is highest in women between 45 and 54. And I don't think that's a coincidence.
No, I don't.
So, you know, mental health for menopausal women is just a massive area that we need more research into. We need to understand that more and offer people more help, because if they can't take estrogen, your brain is full of estrogen receptors. If you can't take estrogen and you've got low estrogen, then what else do you need? And if that's antidepressants, then so what? Go for it. You know, we've got to destigmatize all of that and say, even if you've had mental health issues before or you haven't, you may change. You may experience that during menopause. So really look out for those symptoms.
It was interesting when I did that test with Andrew Steele. Like, my brain doesn't fire correctly. I couldn't believe
you
it.
said about your neurotransmitters.
Yeah.
I did the DNA Fit one, which was his previous company, which I don't think it went into that level of detail.
No, this is brilliant. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
So good. I'm actually really jealous of that business.
It's brilliant business, because he uses one of our probiotics in one of the products as well, one of the gut health products. So amazing business. Amazing feedback. And I was just like, oh my God, it just told me exactly how well my personality was. Yeah.
I couldn't believe it, actually, how bang on accurate it was. Yeah. And then I felt vindicated. I was like, there's nothing I can do then. I just am this way out. That's nothing, you know.
It's a fascinating thought, though, isn't it? That in the future we'll all have these DNA tests. They'll be accessible to everybody. I don't know how much the Get Stride one is.
I think it was like 179. I don't know. No, it's not too bad. And you can bolt on the gut health one as well.
Yeah, okay.
Which I might do.
Yeah, I think I paid more for the DNA Fit one because that was a few years ago and probably newer technology.
I don't know. Full disclosure, I didn't pay for it.
I did Zoe just for experimentation purposes. See
and what did you think of that? Because that had a boom. And then I think...
Well, they upset everybody, didn't they? Because they kind of founded it on personalised nutrition, and then they got rid of all the nutritionists and just started using AI and ChatGPT, which, as you said, you interact with your customers, and it became completely depersonalized, and they'd sold it on this is all about you, and then suddenly people couldn't talk to an actual human. And we love talking about our bowels, don't we? People love ringing up and chatting about their bowels. It's not the same if you're talking to ChatGPT about it.
And so, I used to see everyone with the glucose,
CGMs,
glucose monitors on them, and then now I just feel like that boomed, and then that's a trend that's.
I was obsessed with mine. I was like constantly refreshing the app, going, "Oh,
is that a good thing though?"
No,
because it'll eat. Quite rightly, if you eat a banana, your blood's going to spike. Doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
That's
just your body having a natural.
Them about it and the gamification as well of the app.
Oh, really?
And about scoring points when you've eaten food, and not getting points, and your points sliding if you've had a nibble of chocolate or a Haribo or something. And I said that concerns me as somebody previously working in eating disorders.
That's
that
not
gamification
wouldn't be good for me.
CGM, and I was constantly refreshing the app, going, oh my God, what's happened now? And my blood sugar was really stable. I was so disappointed.
And it's expensive.
It was really expensive, but I just wanted to give it a go because everybody in my kind of network was talking about it.
I'm glad I didn't go in for that.
No, it was.
That's the kind of thing I would have, and I just didn't.
I did it, and I thought, it rekindled my love of beans. I kind of used to do when I was absolutely brassic. Beans were part of every single meal, and then I got, I've got money now. I'm having chicken, and then I suddenly went back to beans, and I'm loving them. Yeah,
do you know what, Rach? You've given me an idea. I feel like somebody could come in and rip up the beans market. Like a challenger brand.
Oh, bold beans. Bold beans.
Oh, really? Oh, they're already doing it.
Oh, Amelia Christie Miller. She has done. She went to Spain, and I spent a lot of time in France when I was a child, and we used to buy big jars of beans, glass. You'd love them. They're in glass.
Yeah.
And then here it was like tinned bullets of things.
So we're talking like cannelli beans and butter beans.
She's got cannellini, butter beans, queen chickpeas.
Queen chickpeas I've had.
My goodness.
They are, and the difference in, and I actually did buy them, and I put, what a boring Instagram post this was, but I put it on because I was like, these chickpeas were like 89p and those were like $4.95. And I thought, well, I've got to go for them. It's in a glass jar. I'm going for the expensive ones. The quality was incredible. So don't get me wrong. But tins do my head in. The plastic on the inside as well. That's another one of my... I'm like, I know this information about how bad these things are for me, but also what am I supposed to do?
No, bold beans are phenomenal. I love her. She's amazing. So young entrepreneur. So she lives in Spain. She's just posted she's taking time out because she's about to have a baby. But yeah, look up that brand. I mean, it's brilliant. And they are £3 a jar or something. And I've got so many people on them. It's the only thing I've ever influenced. I got my own discount code. It was like, I felt like I made it.
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like, it's beans. I was like, I know, but I feel dead special.
I love butter beans and putting them in salads and all types of things like that. I've made my own homemade beans before. I mean, I had a phase of going vegan when it was cool. You know what I mean? For the weight loss benefits.
And then you had a bacon butty. And
that was like, no, it's not for me. So, and I was well into it. But also, I had the time. I used to run a health retreat and it was all vegan, plant-based.
Oh, okay.
Because it's good for a week, isn't it?
Just
to take a bit of a detox,
absolutely.
Isn't it? Helps with your bottom line a lot as well.
Yeah.
But I loved it and I became like an absolute chemist in the kitchen. You know, I would make like matcha popcorn and, you know, all different kinds of stuff. That's another great idea. But I would honestly, I really, really was into food. And now I barely have time to do anything. I go to Starbucks and I get egg bites and I just survive off them all day. That's all I eat.
Bites?
Egg bites, they're called.
Egg bites?
In Starbucks.
Never even heard of
Oh, well, this is another one.
I don't come into the big city very often.
You can, well, if you ever pass in a Starbucks, it's like the best thing you can get in there. 162 calories, whatever grams of protein, God knows. But it's basically just eggs sous vide with red pepper and spinach in. Done.
Nice. Okay.
Well, with a bit of like cheese in. Done. Satisfied. That's all I've eaten today.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's what, 4 o'clock, 4:15 now?
Yeah.
So that's all I'll have. I'll go to the gym and then I'm living in a hotel at the moment because my boiler's gone off. So I'll eat whatever I have at the... actually, I had a pan of scouse last night. Do you know what a scouse is?
Oh, yeah.
It's like an Irish stew, isn't it?
Yeah, we have lobby in Staffordshire, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Just everybody calls it.
It's local, regional.
People screaming at that again. Lobby and scouse are not the same thing, but it's similar.
Yeah.
Stew.
Okay, so I think we've come to the end of the chat, but I've really enjoyed today's chat, Rachel. I think it's been brilliant. I know this was your first podcast. How was it?
It was okay, I think.
No, you did brilliantly. You did really well. You should do some more of them. I might have you back soon. But yeah, interesting products coming out. And if there was like your top 5 products that women of a certain age should be taking, what would you say?
Collagen for joints.
Yeah. Just make sure it's a really good liposomal tripeptide.
A really good liposomal tripeptide collagen. No, collagen for joints is fantastic. Astaxanthin is really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Probiotics, really, really good probiotic. What other things depending on need state, really. Omega-3, always recommend omega-3s. And then I'm finding creatine really interesting at the moment as well.
Definitely. I would say creatine's one of the safest supplements out there. Just take it.
Yeah.
It's so cheap as well. Just take it.
Yeah. And you don't need 10 grams. And
I have 5 grams in a glass of water in the morning with a grind of Himalayan salt, maybe a lemon, and a little bit of paprika or chili powder. That is my morning disgusting drink. Yeah, it's absolutely awful. Talk about things,
good, it's good for you.
Exactly.
But no, just say to people, just check the labels, do the research. Just there's so, ignorance is a choice now, isn't it? There's so much information out there. Do the research on a company. Look on Company's House even. Just see how.
And don't be afraid to ask questions of the company before you purchase.
Exactly. And don't get sort of sucked in. And there are good brands out there. And just do your research.
Definitely. Well, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.